It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
So I'm so curious. So it makes sense, right? You had this difficult thing that happened in your formative years, and it caused you to start behaving a certain way. Well, then you got into your career and you started having some success, right? And you've had a storied career at this point. But it seems like somehow you have staved off lifestyle creep. You have staved off allowing yourself to move away from this. So much so that when you were coming to visit us, you actually scolded FTE Daniel in a very kind, America's Atlanta sweetheart sort of way, but you said, why did you book me this expensive hotel? You could have found something less expensive.
We booked a nice hotel and you didn't like it.
I did not like it. I had us booked at, a deal, hotel just off the freeway. And
doors on the outside or inside?
Inside corridor, because Krista is with me and you don't want to put a woman in a hotel with outdoor corridors. And I was really happy because it came with free breakfast in the morning. And
is that just the waffle maker though? Or is that
no, it's like a real
okay.
hot breakfast. And then I find out that I'm booked in this hotel 4 times the price. Beautiful hotel. But I spend somebody else's money the same way I'd spend my own. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in wasting money. Now, I will spend money on things that last, things that are investments. Mm-hmm. But lifestyle things that are disposable, I don't like to spend money on. So,
because this is interesting to me, is because it was one of those things. Daniel calls me up and he says, "You won't believe what just happened." Because he's like,
"Sorry, Dan,"
because he's a huge fan as well.
Do you want to have a moment to speak in defense of yourself?
The only reason you guys ended up staying there, and this is kind of a Daniel moment too, because we don't have a lot of guests here. Daniel booked a non-refundable rooms. So, I mean, we were stuck with these rooms. Thank goodness
for $1 million.
It was not cheap. So I was like, yeah, we probably need to work on that. But it didn't. And actually, Krista, I think, was very happy that we did non-refundable rooms. So it all played out. But it does lead to those things, because I asked you this last night, because it's such an important thing, is I prided myself, just like you did, on being so good with money that I can make it squeak to a degree. But I'm going to go ahead, and this is why I used to have we even had the domain name, Tightwad Nation.
Yep.
We were so proud of how good we were with money. But confessionally, as I've made more and more money, I've kind of now realized the things I like to do, I don't mind spending. Like, I love good meals, I love travel, and I like staying in hotel rooms that are nice. And I asked you, I said, how have you, or can you give me kind of your recipe? Because is it that way with your family? How does that all work?
So if you're just Tightwad Nation, okay, right, that's not the goal. The goal is not to deprive yourself forever. The goal is to build up enough independence, enough resources, and carry ultimately no debt in your life so that you're in a position to live your life the way you want, whether it's giving to charity or it's flying internationally in the front of the plane or whatever it is. That the goal is not just to deprive yourself forever. The goal is to live your life where you're always living on less than what you make, and you're building up more and more money so that you have more and more freedom. Money is not the God.
Yeah, it's true.
And when people treat money as a God, they end up pretty hollow, pretty empty, and they don't end up happy. Just think about Mr. Potter in What's the Wonderful Life?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, with Jimmy Stewart. If you don't know that reference from 80 years ago, you got to go watch that movie at Christmas. You'll know everything you need to know about the right way to treat people and the way to handle money from that one movie. But the goal is not to starve yourself of everything, to deprive yourself of everything. The goal is to create the choices where you're always living on less than what you make. And that's how you get to where you want to be, where you are in control. You're the one making the choices. And if you want to eat that fancy steak and you got some kind of bottle of wine that costs like what
that
a used
is Brandon.
car.
That was Brandon, not me.
Even at today's inflated prices, you could have gotten a used car for what that bottle of wine costs. I mean, what are you thinking? But anyway, you have the financial wherewithal to do that. That's the key. It's not deprivation. It's about freedom.
Yeah.
And it sounds like in order to do that, you have to define what you value, the things that are, if I'm hearing you correctly, what is it? What are the things I want to spend money on? It may not be the flashy car to show off in front of my neighbors. It may be being able to build memories with my family or whatever that thing may be. Earlier on in your life, when you got married, was it difficult for you and your spouse to get in the same, because, my wife was not quite as frugal when we first got married. We've done a lot of content around that.
Way to throw her under the bus.
I don't think she's listening right now.
I have been very careful because my wife gets really upset when she becomes the target, for how
He just fell into that trap. And by the way, he's bougie Bo too. Don't let him mislead you. This is also a joint effort. Keep going.
So what was it difficult, one, for you guys to get on the same page financially, and then two, how did you start defining, okay, what are we going to talk about that are the important things, and when do we get to, you said the goal is not to live like this forever. How did you know when you were at the point where you could start to shift and you could start to maybe enjoy it more?
So when you have enough money that living a certain lifestyle, you would never have to work another day of your life. And you could maintain that lifestyle. That's when you're there.
Would you call that financial independence?
That is financial independence, and that is when you hear this obsession that was big 5 years ago with the FIRE movement. It was really like getting to that day where you never had to work again. But that's not, to me, the real goal. The real goal is where you have the choice to do something else. Let's say you always wanted to do blah blah blah, but it's not that lucrative. But you've made enough money, now you can do that. Because I find that the type of people who can work their butts off and save money so well that they really don't have to work anymore, they're bored to tears if they don't do something anymore. It's really about the freedom to do what it is you want. And you will know if you're saving a substantial amount of your pay over time. I mean, my 50% is crazy, right? Well, I retired back, at 31, and then kind of fell into doing what I do now.
You didn't really retire, by the way.
I still am working, and it's crazy because I've been working again more time than I had lived to the point that I was retired. So, but the thing is that I started saving 75% of my pay when I started working again because I didn't need any of it. And then I started giving more and more money away and giving to charity. That's my thing, is being able to give to charity and then earning points so that when the deal with my wife is, you'll love this. So I fly mostly Southwest Airlines because they have a companion pass. And I get the companion pass. My wife flies with me free all year long. And the trade with her is when we go international, that we go front of the plane. But I'm not spending money on front of the plane. I'm using
rewards and points
to go the front of the plane.
That's genius. I love it.
And so it's this great trade because all year long we do where we're, lined up on Southwest in A group, B group, or C group to get on the plane, random seat selection. And then when we go once or twice a year on an over the ocean trip, then we got the lie flat bed. And that's our MasterCard circles, we call it, because my wife's here with money, I'm here, but we cross over. You know how the MasterCard has that middle circle? That's part of what you do in a marriage. That's the dynamic in a marriage. You don't want to overpower either person because you'll create distance in the marriage. You'll create resentment. It's got to be where you do the compromises where each feels like they've been heard and they each are able to do what they want to do. And I will tell you, I believe that hidden debt and hidden spending in a marriage or people are living together, that is poison that will rip that relationship apart or damage it very heavily, that you need to work on. It's not a conversation. It's like with kids, where you're going to have the sex talk with them and you think it's one talk. Yeah, right. So it's the same thing with money, and couples have a harder time talking about money than they do the bedroom.
I believe it.
Yeah. So it's really got to be about having the ongoing conversation where you find out, you hurt my feelings when you complained about me buying this, that, or the other. That you got to have that relationship where you can really talk it through.